What does a college swimmer do, and how far would she go to rescue her father when she discovers that he's trapped during a dangerous hurricane in a basement with tons of alligators? Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we'll do a recap of an American disaster and horror movie called Crawl. Let's check it out.
The movie scene opens at a university in Florida with some girls preparing for a swimming contest. One of the ladies, Haley, studies her co-contestants as she prepares to dive in. She looks like the perfect swimmer for the competition and cannot wait to conquer the water. As they all dive in, Haley swims with great skills.
Unfortunately, today is not the day of Michael Phelps wannabe, as she finishes in second place.
A brief flashback reveals that she's always been exposed to the waters as her father was a swimming coach. It is obvious that he spared no discipline when it came to her swimming lessons. In truth, the picture wouldn't appear so great if the coach's daughter always wins in the first position from behind. As she cleans herself after swimming, she gets a phone call from her sister Beth. Beth tells her about a terrible hurricane that is approaching. Unfortunately, the storm is likely to affect the area where their father, Dave, lives, and the sisters are concerned about his safety. There is also an evacuation going on because of the perceived severity of the hurricane. From Haley's further conversation with her sister, it is revealed that their mother, who recently divorced their dad, is in Paris. With time, Haley becomes concerned about her father's safety and decides to visit him. On her way out of town, the signs are clear that the approaching hurricane would be terrible. She comes across her sister's ex-boyfriend Wayne, who's helping with the evacuation of the town. He tells her how to safely get out of town, but Haley decides to go in search of her father, and she takes a different route, much to the disapproval of Wayne. As she gets to the house, she finds it empty except for her father's dog, Sugar. After speaking with Beth on the phone, she decides to visit the old family house to look for Dave. Beth warns about this, but Haley goes ahead to the old house. The street leading to the house has an unusually high water level. As Haley arrives, she sees her father's truck outside. She becomes hopeful that he is in the house and goes in. However, the living room is empty. Haley calls her father's phone and it rings nearby. She continues to search for her father when a tree crashes right into the house, startling her. It seems to be a crash course, preparing her for the things she is about to experience much later. Sugar begins to bark close to the basement, and Haley decides to see what could be down there. She makes her way through a dark, rat-infested, dingy basement and sees blood marks on a pipe. Alarmed, she continues to search for her father and eventually finds him unconscious on the floor. As she tries to revive him, she sees that he has been injured on his right shoulder. Sugar begins to bark again, and as Haley tries to pull her unconscious dad out of the basement, an alligator breaks into the basement and charges at them.
Fortunately, Haley manages to pull her dad under some plumbing pipes, and the alligator sinks its teeth into the pipe instead of the living steaks of Haley and her dad. Disappointed at missing out on lunch, the alligator crawls away.
Dave stirs and Haley continues to try her best to revive him. She squeezes some water, or is that sweat, Haley, from her jacket into her father's mouth. Great resuscitation method, if you must know. Everyone knows that sodium salt could revive people, but whoever knew that the people in Florida had also perfected the act of using sorry water from jackets to revive people. As Dave finally comes to consciousness, he tells Haley that the basement has an alligator. He further explains that the animal might have come in through the drain pipe. He is concerned about her safety and wants her to leave him there and escape. Thankfully, Haley refuses, as it is eventually revealed that one of Dave's legs is broken. On whose conscience were you planning to leave your demise on Dave? Haley's phone rings, and as she leaves the safety of the pipes, which serves as a barricade to get it, an alligator appears behind her. Terrified, she screams and tries to escape from it, but this alligator would not miss out on lunch twice in one day and grabs her by the leg. As it pulls her away, she kicks at it repeatedly with her free leg. An equally hungry alligator colleague shows up, and Haley single-handedly battles them. After trapping one in a net-like box, she finds a screwdriver and pierces one of the eyes of the second alligator. It is your sad day, alligator. Not only are you not getting a human steak, but your chances of even finding them have been reduced by a whopping 50%. Haley discovers that the alligator bite is quite serious, but she manages to tie it to stop the bleeding. She crawls towards a window, and from it, she sees a department store with three youngsters. They're taking advantage of the hurricane and looting the empty store. Talk about priorities. Haley does her best to signal them for help. One of the boys sees her blinking flashlight and begins to make his way towards her. He turns to call the attention of one of his friends to the flashlights. Unfortunately, he sees his friend being attacked by an alligator. The alligator also finds its way into the store and mortally attacks their last friend inside. As the hurricane increases in intensity, the basement begins to fill up quickly with water. Dave asks Haley to try opening the basement latchet that leads to the main house. Unfortunately, a drawer sits right over the door that leads out, and she cannot push it away. As all their efforts to get out seem to yield no result, adults, a ray of hope shines on them when they hear some people outside. It turns out that Wayne decided to look for Haley and her dad. Dave and Haley begin to call out and bang at things to get Wayne's attention. When he sees them, they warn him about the alligators, but it's too late as one of the alligators grabs him and eventually brings about his demise. Haley is crushed by this unfortunate incident. She probably blames herself for Wayne's misfortune. They make their way behind the pipes, which is now a temporal safe haven, and their discussion drifts to the domestic issues that led to her parents' divorce. Haley also believes that she must have been responsible for parents' split, but Dave tells her that she and her sister are the reason why the marriage lasted for even so long.
You need to stop hitting yourself over the head for every misfortune, Haley. There are bigger fishes to fry around you, and this is in a literal sense. So the duo eventually discovers that the only chance they have at escaping impending misfortune would be to fight the alligators.
Haley swims towards the staircase while Dave draws the attention of the alligators with some noise before trapping one underneath some pipe debris. He uses a shovel to strike the alligator repeatedly until it is lifeless. Haley's trip to the staircase is dangerous, so she chooses to go through a different route, the drain pipe. Dave warns her that this is a very dangerous route because the alligators came in through this drain pipe. Without much of an option, however, Haley swims to it. Here she finds that the alligators have grown rather comfortable in the basement and are nursing a long-term goal of even raising a family. Such audacity! There are a lot of alligator eggs, with some of them even hatching. She finds the remains of Wayne and takes the gun on him. An alligator suddenly attacks her, biting the hand that holds Wayne's guns, and she wastes no time in pumping it with bullets. She manages to swim outside and sees a helicopter flying overhead. Although she tries to get its attention by screaming for it, the pilots do not see her and fly away. Dave at this point is drowning since the basement is now filled with water. Haley goes back into the house and with a crowbar opens the floor of the apartment, leading to the basement before dragging a motionless Dave from underneath the water. She revives him again. There is no wet jacket to fill his mouth with its content this time around, and so he would have to settle for CPR in the normal way. As the father and daughter make their way to the outside, they see a boat not too far away.
Dave tells Haley that the alligators are attracted by splashing water, so they carefully wade through. As they approach the boat, Haley quickly swims to it and is able to get her father and Sugar on. Unfortunately, the hurricane wave is not done with the family yet and sends the boat crashing right back into the house that they just left.
Back at the house, Haley finds a radio in the water and calls for help with it, but no one responds. Dave, on the other hand, finds flares, but when he lights one up, an alligator attacks him instead and rips his hands. Another alligator pursues Haley, but she escapes to the bathroom. The shameless alligator, who has no respect for privacy, barges in, and Haley traps it in there before scaling the bathroom walls. For an alligator's size and strength, it is a shame it cannot break out and escape a thin wall like this particular bathroom wall. One more alligator attacks Haley, and she burns it with one of the flares from her father. After a lot of effort, they all make it to the top of the roof. Haley again lights up a flare as a helicopter hovers over them, and this time the pilots see them and let down a helicopter ladder to carry them to safety. However, the mind-boggling question is how Dave or Haley intends to climb the ladder with their ripped and serious injured limbs.
This movie brilliantly captures the resilience of our human nature against all odds. It also tells the story of bravery and courage in the face of imminent danger. For a swimmer who always had to play second fiddle to the best, Haley demonstrates that heroes don't always need to win medals. The movie also highlights the need for the world to take environmental concerns seriously. Although this is a must-watch, it's not for those who have a weak heart for intense movies like this. Please subscribe to our channel to be notified when we upload. Also, don't forget to suggest movies that you want us to recap in the future in the comments down below.